Welcome, dear friends. Welcome to our spiritual home, the Unitarian Universalist Church of Tarpon Springs. My name is Barbara Rosen, and I'm serving as your worship associate today. I use she, her pronouns, and am an older white woman with white hair, green eyes, wearing glasses, and blue-ish clothing. I am from the Seneca Nation's people in New York, and we want to acknowledge that here at the church, we are on the lands of the Tocobaga and Seminole peoples. We are a church of many welcomes, and we offer a warm welcome to all of you. This is a liberal community for all ages, promoting spiritual growth, social justice, and the arts. To learn more about events, our church calendar is on our website, uutarpon.org, or we'd be happy to talk with you during the coffee hour. For those present with us in the building, we have connection cards available near the hymnals in the pews. If you'd like to connect with us, you could fill one of those out and put it in the offering. There are also small cards because we do joys and sorrows at the end of our service if you'd prefer to do one in writing. Our service today is with Claudia Schmidt, who brings her exuberant music to Tarpon Springs UU. With her multi-octave voice, 12-string guitar, and mountain dulcimer, she weaves together song, story, and spoken word in a one-of-a-kind presentation that will fill your heart and refresh your soul. After 50 years of writing and performing, she is as strong as ever, sharing her wonder and amazement at the world and all the creatures, including us, who inhabit it. She just released her 22nd album, Reimagining, and is working on a new material for this year's release in this celebratory year. She is officially naming this year of performing CLAUDFEST. Bonnie will be assisting us with the music. The opening hymn is I Wish I Knew, number 15 in the gray hymnal.
As you're turning to it, I'll play it through once because we have not done this as a congregation.
Could live like I'm longing to live. be starting anew, though I'm way overdue. I'd be starting anew. I wish I could be like a bird in the sky. How sweet it would be if I found I could fly. I'd soar to the sun and look down at the sea. Then I'd sing 'cause I'd know how it feels to be free. Then I'd sing 'cause I'd know how it feels to be free. Yeah. Good morning. Thank you so much for having me here today and for being here and for being alive and on the planet. I wanted to share with you a prayer from the Native Americans, a sort of grounding prayer that appeals to all four directions. Behold, a sacred voice is calling you. All over the sky, a sacred voice is calling. This we know. All things are the work of the great mysterious. This we know. The great mysterious is in all things. Look to the east. Find the great mysterious in the east, in the mouse, who teaches us that the small can be wise, in the eagle, who teaches us to be brave, in the sun, who teaches us to bring light to others. Look to the east. Find the great mysterious in the yellow of the east. Look to the south. Find the great mysterious in the south, in the rose bush who protects her beauty with thorns, in the cougar who notices everything, in the willow tree who knows how to bend with the wind. Look to the south. Find the great mysterious in the red of the south. Look to the west. Find the great mysterious in the west, in the power of thunder and lightning, in the strength of the bear, in the steady going forward of the turtle. Look to the west. Find the great mysterious in the brown of the west. Look to the north. Find the great mysterious in the north, in the calmness of the buffalo, in the openness of the mountaintop, in the peace of the quiet lake. Look to the north. Find the great mysterious in the white of the north. This we know. All things are the work of the great mysterious. This we know. The great mysterious is in all things.
Alex? Alex will light our chalice this morning. I remember when he couldn't see the top of the candle. Thank you, Alex. We gather this morning as one community, a community yet united by common ideals: love, justice, diversity, freedom, mutual care, equity. Yet look around. Look at the faces of those around you. Each face represents an individual. Every one of us, with our own story, needs strength and faults. We light our chalice today honoring our common connection and also the uniqueness that lives within each of us. Our next piece of music, Spirit of Life.
Spirit of love, Morning. Again, I think we all know who John Lewis was and how important he was, not to just the African American community, but to all of us, because he was a believer in something that over his lifetime he came to call the beloved community. And sometimes you don't know these things early in your life. I mean, you don't know that you're going to have this kind of a calling when you're 7, 8 years old. He was the son of sharecroppers, so very close to slavery. And his parents just wanted him to be, they told him, John, you stay out of trouble. Just stay out of trouble. And as we know, that wasn't the path that he took. But he called it good trouble. But he sort of defines how he came to be the person he was from a childhood experience. He said there were about 15 of us playing one day in the dirt outside my Aunt Suneva's house. We were laughing and we were chasing each other around and making a lot of noise and doing what children do, when suddenly the sky got dark and the wind began to howl and we saw lightning bolts off in the distance, and we got pretty quiet and we didn't know what to do. And then the wind got stronger, and Aunt Suneva was the only adult around, so she called us into the house. Now that was a small house to begin with, but with 15 children in it, it got mighty small. And it also got real quiet, even with those 15 children, because the wind was getting stronger and the rain was pounding down on the metal roof, and then the house itself began to sway. We were terrified. Aunt Suneva was terrified. And then right before our eyes, the planks of the wood floor began to raise up and wave around. It felt as if the wind was going to pull the whole house right up into the sky with all of us in it. And then in the corner of the house, the floor actually began to raise up off the ground. Aunt Suneva said, you children, you line up and hold hands. And we did. And she said, walk toward that corner of the house. And we did, and we laid that corner of the house down with the weight. Even though we were small, there were 15 of us. And then another corner of the house began to lift up. And so we turned around and we joined hands and we walked toward that corner. And so it went. And so it went until the storm calmed down and we were there in the house together on the ground. And it struck me, he said, over all the years of my work and making good trouble, as he'd like to say, that house with those children in it is a lot like our own country. Over the years, not just in the civil rights movement, but many, many times over the history of our country, we've had storms come up like this that threaten to break the house apart and fly everyone apart. But with the unity of each other, of holding hands, he said what happens is the people of conscience never leave the house. They stay in the house and walk together toward the weak part to hold it down until the storm is over. And it's been like that always, he said. We did it then, we'll do it again, and that's how it goes in the beloved community. So I want to just sing a little of this song for John Lewis, because this was an important movement song, and he's certainly shown his own light all his life. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Woo! This little light of mine, yes, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Woo-hoo-hoo, even in times of trouble, I'm gonna let it shine. Even in times of trouble, I'm gonna let it shine. Even in times of trouble, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. One more time, this little light of mine. Ooh, I'm gonna let it shine, this little light of mine. Ooh, I'm gonna let it shine, yes, this little light of mine. Yeah, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
The purpose of our church is to encourage all who gather here to grow more generous in spirit and in action. We now take an offering that allows us to exercise that all-important generosity of spirit, an offering that will support this self-supporting church and its many mysteries. The gifts of the congregation will be most gratefully received. And our next music by Claudia is Quiet Hills.
It's the same key. There is darkness in these hills, I am not afraid. There is darkness in these hills, I am not afraid. There is darkness in these hills, though some may tremble, I am still. Hope lives in these quiet hills. The verses change a little bit from verse to verse, but we always end with hope lives in these quiet hills. Try that with me. Hope lives in these quiet hills. There is darkness in the land, I seek the taste of hope. There is darkness in the land, I seek the taste of hope. There is darkness in the land, with sorrows more than we can stand. Hope lives in these quiet hills. There is darkness in my heart, but the taste of hope is sweet. There is darkness in my heart, the taste of hope is sweet. There is darkness in my heart, yet I can feel the healing start. Hope lives in these quiet hills. Ooh. Oh, there is darkness in these hills, I am not afraid. I am not afraid. There is darkness in these hills, I am not afraid. There is darkness in these hills, though some may tremble, I am still. Hope lives in these quiet hills. Hope lives in these quiet hills. Hope lives in these quiet hills. Ooh. Let's see. some words from the Persian poet Rumi called Guest House. This being human is a guest house. Every morning a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness. Some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all, even if they're a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture. Still, treat each guest honorably. They may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whatever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. Let's see, I need to do this here. Did they ever get the words for Promising Sky? Do you know if that ever? Maybe not.
No.
Oh.
I didn't understand that. I gave you the words to the closing word.
Oh, wow.
So sorry.
Oh, well, I'll just have to teach you as we go. So, I actually don't need that.
Sorry.
So anyway, I'm going to be singing a verse that goes da 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 da, and you sing under a promising sky. Try that. Under a promising sky. And then I sing a da 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 da, and you sing under a promising sky. And that's the verse. And now the chorus. I sing Promising Sky, and you're going to sing the same melody line with slightly different words. So I sing Promising Sky, and you sing We're walking under. We're walking under. Promising Sky, lightning and thunder. Lightning and thunder. Promising Sky, here comes the sunshine. Here comes the sunshine. Promising Sky, it's yours and it's mine. So that concludes our rehearsal. I'll help you. I'll help you along here. Every step we take is on sacred ground here, under a promising sky. Someone or something lived and died all around here, under a promising sky. It's a promising sky. We're walking under promising sky. Lightning and thunder, promising sky. Here comes the sunshine. Promising sky. It's yours and it's mine. See how they kind of overlap a little bit? So hold your note out while I start into my next line, and it turns into like a single line. So we breathe out the past and breathe in tomorrow. Oh, today's just a moment's taste of joy and of sorrow. Yeah, it's a promising sky, walking down, promising sky, promising sky, promising sky. The voices of the ancestors' voices try to call us home. Oh, but the cries of the children won't leave us alone. Ooh, it's a promising sky, promising sky, promising sky, promising sky. So we're caught between the earth and the heavens above. Oh, the best we can do is fill the space with love. Ooh, it's a promising sky, promising sky, promising sky, promising sky. You are an angel when you open your heart. sky. You don't need wings to make a brand new start. Ooh, it's a promising sky, promising sky, promising sky, promising sky, promising sky, ooh, promising sky, promising sky, promising sky. It's yours and it's mine. Okay, I'm just going to move this over here for aesthetic's sake. There. It's out of the frame now. I did come upon a river of tears, the grief of my sisters and brothers. It had grown so deep, I could not cross over to continue on my journey. It was wild and black, and it threw out a spray that stained my garments blood red. I was filled with fear, I was filled with pain, and I thought I would never cross over. I did build a raft from the bones of my mother who had drowned in that river of sorrow. I did bind those bones, all one to another, with the ropes of the captives now free. I did steer that raft with a long straight pole from a branch that my father, tree that my father had planted. And I set off into that treacherous flow with a trembling hope in my heart. And as I crossed that angry stream, I looked in the water all swirling, and it showed me the faces of the ones I had killed by refusing to fight for their freedom. And it showed me the faces of the ones who had died while trying to end the struggles. And their voices cried out, "Get to the shore and continue this work we've begun." And the water it dragged, and the water it pulled, and the pain it threatened to drown me. But I held my course and bore down on the pole from the tree that my father had planted. And I fell exhausted onto the shore as the raft splintered all into pieces. And then a smile came to my weary face, for I heard those voices singing songs like tears, songs like rivers. I have carried them all on my journey. And it's these I'll sing until that river runs as dry as the bones of my mother. And it's these I'll sing until that river's but a valley where sorrow once raged. I wrote that song out of a dream as a very young woman. Both my parents were alive. I'd had no particular trauma at that point in my life. But still, the place where I grew up in Michigan was a small town that was extremely racist. And we were fairly close to Detroit, so I remember standing outside in our yard watching the smoke over Detroit during the riots. And something deep in me responded. Then I went out into the world, and it was as if a seed had been planted, searching for what I did not yet recognize as beloved community. And somewhere along my travels, I became acquainted with the Zulu word Ubuntu, and it was like a light went off. I felt so happy when I heard this word, because it basically means, I am because you are. I am because you are. And I began to understand that we can feel connected, even if I don't even know you yet. Somebody posted something the other day that said, so if I tell you I love you and you say, how can you love me? You don't even know me. I respond with, well, people can say I hate you when they don't even know you, so what's the difference? But it's the not knowing. Ooh, we like to know. We like to know in advance. We like to Google. It kindles fear, and fear overwhelms everything else. I don't know if you've read James Baldwin at all. James Baldwin, he was a gay black man in the 1950s who never lost his fundamental love for all of humanity despite the hate and the cruelty he endured. He even left America for a few years thinking he was never going to come back, but he was called back to his own beloved community. He needed to be part of whatever was going on, even if it was hard. His love overcame his fear. One of my favorite quotes of his is, perhaps one of the reasons people cling so stubbornly to their hates is they sense that once hate is gone, they will have to deal with fear. So much of institutional racism is just based on fear, masquerading as hate. If we tear down the false narrative of race, what does it say? Where does it leave us? How do we proceed? Maya Angelou said, hate, it has caused many problems in the world. It has not solved one. When Martin Luther King marched with the sanitation workers in Memphis, he was embodying beloved community. It wasn't a black or white thing so often used to pit us against each other by cynical and very fearful leaders. It was about equal justice, redistribution of wealth that would benefit everyone. It was a big step through fear for him because he faced scorn even from some in the black community for including white people in this struggle. Martin Luther King said, darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. So stepping into a deeper place, loving without judging. Here is the portal to beloved community, what bell hooks called radical love. Here's another James Baldwin quote. The longer I live, the more deeply I learn that love, whether we call it friendship, family, or romance, is the work of mirroring and magnifying each other's light. He had the courage to move through, because you can't go around it. He was able to move through the fear to get to that fundamental place, that place of Ubuntu. It's easy to feel hopeless at this time, to feel despair. They're very paralyzing things, but we can't afford hopelessness right now. I see hope as an act of courage. It's an act. It's not a passive state. It's an active state. What are you doing? Oh, I'm hoping. And then there's despair. I read a definition of despair recently that just floored me. It really goes back to the old ancient Greek. There's a word called apognosis that is defined as willing abandonment of knowledge. I mean, it's incredible when you think about it that way. So despair is also an action, like hope. We get to choose. We know on a deep level how we need to treat each other and ourselves. We need to call on that moral knowing so that we can heal our own beloved community. When John Lewis marched in Selma, he led those 600 people that day. He was part of a movement joined by anyone who believed in equality, regardless of the color of one's skin. The fact that we keep returning to that place, that bridge, Selma, the trips every year that go and visit that place and reenact that march, I feel like it speaks to that hope, that we can keep walking, even in the face of resistance, which is founded in fear. We're all part of that great walk, connected, Ubuntu. And that is how we can survive and thrive and break through fear to new horizons of love and understanding. I wanted to do a song to wind up this little talk that was inspired by John Lewis and that day that he walked with those people. I want to do it, though, just not for him, but for Fannie Lou Hamer and Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks and Harriet Tubman and all the hundreds of thousands of people who went down there, who went to the Highlander Institute in Tennessee and learned how to practice nonviolent resistance so that they could go and be part of that great movement. So I want to read something I just came across yesterday, though, that I thought was so great. Do not be dismayed by the brokenness of the world. All things break, and all things can be mended, not with time, as they say, but with intention. So go, love intentionally, extravagantly, unconditionally. The broken world waits in darkness for the light that is you. From L.R. Knost. So let's do this. Let's act on what we already know. Let me grab my dulcimer and we're going to sing about it, because that's so much what the movement was about, was music. Here's the chorus. Still on the bridge, 50 years gone by. Still on the bridge, looking hate in the eye. I wrote this song on the eve of the 50th anniversary of the March from Selma. We can't cross the bridge until we turn them around. Started out peaceful just like we planned. 600 people walking hand in hand. 2 by 2 they made their way into that bloody fray. Here we go. We're still on the bridge, 50 years gone by. Still on the bridge, looking hate in the eye. We can't cross the bridge until we turn them around. Oh, silent marchers, Montgomery bound. The right to vote, their common ground. Selma behind, what lay ahead would leave 3 people dead. Oh, we're still on the bridge, 50 years gone by. Still on the bridge, looking hate in the eye. We can't cross the bridge until we turn them around. Ooh, 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 ooh. Well, on to the Edmund Pettus Bridge, in the angry blue sea at the bottom of the ridge. Old Edmund was a Klansman, and here's the shame. The bridge still bears his name. Oh, we're still on the bridge, 50 years gone by. Still on the bridge, looking hate in the eye. We can't cross the bridge until we turn them around. Oh, no, no, no. Selma to Montgomery, it can't be measured in miles, you see, but in the courage to stand our ground and turn this hate around. Yeah, we're still on the bridge, 50 years gone by. still on the bridge, looking hate in the eye. We can't cross the bridge until we turn them around. Woo! We're still walking, still on the bridge, 50 years gone by. Still on the bridge, looking hate in the eye. We can't cross the bridge till we turn them. No, we can't cross the bridge until we turn them. Who can't cross the bridge until we turn them around? We can't cross the bridge till we turn them around. Can't cross. We got to turn them around. We can't cross the bridge. We're gonna turn them around. Ooh, 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 ooh. Yeah. Oh, let me grab my hymnal. 155?
Yes.
I think you all know this already, but it's a new one for me. So,
No, we do not.
okay then.
We're going to sing hymn number 155 in the Gray Book, and we'll sing it 2 times over. The choir has sung it once before, and perhaps it would be good if we sang it again next week.
Yes, let it make that new neural pathway. Would you like to play through it once?
Yes, and if you'll notice in your book, there are 3 lines of music. The melody, which we'll sing today, is in the middle.
But if anybody wants to tackle the other 2, you're welcome to. Circle round for freedom, circle round for peace, for all of us imprisoned, circle for release, circle for the planet, circle for each soul, for the children of our children. Keep the circle whole. Circle round for freedom, circle round for peace, for all of us imprisoned, circle for release, circle for the planet, circle for each soul, for the children of our children. Keep the circle whole. Do we have the closing words written down? Because, all right. It's a little bit, do we have all the words in there? Yeah, you see all that is wrong sometimes. Is there more to it than that, or is that? Oh, okay, great. Yeah, great. I'm going to look at it too, because I didn't have my copy with me. This is a wonderful piece that was written by a poet named Joyce Sutphin, and we're all going to read it together. It is time for us to wake, We who stumble through the day with our gripes and complaints, who drift numbly through thronging halls and streets. You and I, who rant about injustice, who see all that is wrong in this world, but sometimes believe we are shackled and powerless. It is time to look into each other's faces, we who glide along the surface. Time to dive down and feel the currents of each other's lives. Time to speak until the air holds all of our voices. Time to weave for each other a garment of brightness. Open your eyes. There was another slide. Feel your strength. Bless the past. Greet the future. Join hands right here. Our moment, starting now. Yes, the song that we're going to do now was written by my friend Laura Caviani, a pianist and composer. She was commissioned to write it. It's based on a poem by the African-American poet Langston Hughes, who was a great voice during the Civil Rights Movement. He had the great lines, because my mouth is wide with laughter, because my throat is filled with song, you do not know I suffer after I have held my pain so long. And this is a poem of his that she set to music. There are words like freedom, sweet and wonderful. There are words like freedom, sweet and wonderful to say. There are words like freedom, sweet and wonderful on my heartstrings. Freedom sings all day, every day. Mm-hmm. There are words like liberty, sweet and wonderful. There are words like liberty, sweet and wonderful to say. There are words like liberty, sweet and wonderful on my heartstrings. Freedom sings all day, every day. Oh, if you had known what I knew, you would know why. There are words like liberty that almost make me cry. liberty that almost make me cry. There are words like freedom, sweet and wonderful. There are words like liberty that almost make me cry. And if you had known what I knew, you would know why. You would know why.
I'm sure you have all found meaning in today's service as I have. We close with these words from Robin F. Gray. The flame is extinguished, but not our hope for the future, our courage in the face of crisis, or the love we share in all the world.